Why did I choose Julius Malema on the one hand and Dr. Pieter Groenewald on the other side? And why am I implying that we can learn from them? These are the questions that I'm going to answer for you now. Now, if you cannot relate to these two people, maybe you can choose some other politicians, and I want you to choose one that you despise or really dislike and one that inspires you, because that is the reason why I chose these two particular people. And once you've got your two, then you can carry on with the exercises with me. Now, I do want you to realize that looking at politicians and the way I'm describing them in this video is totally my subjective impression of them. We look at them subjectively because the politician that I like might be the one that you despise and vice versa. So let's explore what they have in common. Well, first of all, they're both politicians. They both have a way of communicating their message. They talk about equality and they have an influence on how public money is being spent. And with all of this, they have an influence on the future of our country. If we look at how they approach equality, you'll see that these two men are on the different end of the same spectrum. Let's explore how these two men approach the subject of equality. The one is all about creating equality by taking from the rich, giving it to the poor. He likes to pull certain people down, talk badly about them, and then that way he's trying to make himself look better. He even encourages violence to the point that he encourages people to be killed. He is focusing on what we can get, on our rights. And with that, what is happening? We pull everybody down and everybody loses. Then on the other hand, we have a Minister of Correctional Services. So what I've learned about Dr. Pieter Groenewald while listening to an interview with him is that he is all about equality. He treats the people in the prison the same, regardless if they were homeless before or a president for that matter, they get the same treatment. They are there to do work, they are there to learn self-discipline, and they have the opportunity while working to get certificates for the skills they have achieved while working in prison. What is so good about that is that when they then later released into society, they have a far better chance on integrating into society and changing their ways. He is giving, and with that, everybody is winning. Now, I know it's easier to give to people that are lower than you, and we tend to think, well, if you are higher than me, why should I give to you? Well, the thing is, how we treat others, we follow them. So if we pull people down, we go down with them. If we push people up, we go up with them. Even if they were already wealthy and they become more wealthy, we get wealthy with them. Now I'm inviting you to look in that lovely mirror that I love to talk about, and we're going to look at where am I on that same scale? Am I a person that pulls people down? And especially, am I a person that pulls myself down with my harsh comments, by being hard on myself and critical of myself, comparing myself to others and think I'm useless or whatever? Or am I a person who uplifts others and uplifts myself? Am I focusing on what I can give to others? Because remember, when we give and we push people up, we go with them. Now, if you don't like the one and you are inspired by the other, that tells me I still have some of these qualities of pulling people down and focusing on what I can get, but I want to focus more on what I can give, and I want to work more with building people up including myself, and treating and seeing each other as equal. So it's an invitation to shift from the one end of the spectrum towards the other. Without judgment, no need to hit yourself over the head for things that you've done in the past. It's about what you're going to do with that information to change your future. Now, before I carry on with this video, I would like to invite you to like this video and subscribe to my channel so that we can spread this message further. And of course, share this video with others that you think can benefit from it. Now let's look at the next topic, their message, how they spread their message. The one loves to talk about it. He likes to fill a whole stadium with people and sing and dance and make a whole rigmarole. A lot of words, a lot of empty promises, very few actions. And then on the other hand, we have a person that speaks little and has a lot of action. He has a lot of results, and the result of that is that people start talking about what he's achieving, and that's why people, including myself, have such admiration for this person. So if you are tired of people with empty promises, now we have to have an honest look at ourselves and say, where do I make empty promises, especially towards myself, that I say, okay, now I'm going to go to the gym and exercise, or I'm going to change my diet, or I'm going to be kinder to myself or others. But we don't follow through because we want to come to a point that our words and our actions give the same message. And if we don't like the one and are inspired by the other, then that is an invitation to watch how we use our words. Could we talk less and do more? Could we use our words to inspire people and then follow that up with our own actions? That is the invitation you get by comparing yourself with these two men. The last comparison I want to make is how they manage our resources and especially our money. The one is known to be a tenderpreneur and he has a lot of tenderpreneur friends. A tenderpreneur, in case you don't know what that means, is somebody who goes after lucrative government contracts with inflated prices. And then he gives poor service if he gives a service at all. And they earn a lot of money and they use that money to create these lavish lifestyles. And then on the other hand, we have somebody who is very careful with how money is being spent. He respects taxpayers' money and he goes out of his way to save the public money. And this comparison doesn't only apply to how we use our money, but also how we use other resources like our time and other things that we have. Now, where do we fit in? So if we are irritated with these people who waste our money, then let's check out our own way of managing our money. Are we wasteful with our money? Are we spending money to make the impression that we are okay? We buy expensive stuff so that we look better? Or are we careful with our money? We spend it wisely so that we can create a better future for ourselves and our children. Are we careful with how we spend our mind space? And we just let our mind wander and we feel bad afterwards? Or do we use our mind to create things that are beneficial for ourselves and others? And how do we spend our time? Do we just waste it by scrolling endlessly and by being entertained? Or do we spend our time by building something? If you're irritated with the one and inspired by the other, then that tells me that deep down inside you want to shift from the one side to the other. And I know you have it in you, otherwise you wouldn't be inspired by that person. Now my next question to you is, how would your life change when you start realizing we are all equal? That you're not less than others, that you're not more than them either. That you treat yourself with respect instead of pulling yourself down. That you start focusing on what you can give instead of what you can get. Because when you focus on what you can get, you're coming from lack. When you focus what you can give, you come from abundance, and with that you create more abundance for everyone, including you. And if you start being more careful with how you use your words to not give those empty promises, that you realize when I say something, I'm going to follow through with my actions. And what if you start respecting your resources, your money, your time, and other things that you have, and start using them wisely to build a better future for you and the people around you? How is that all going to change the quality of your life? How is that going to assist you to creating the life that you want? That is what you're going to get when you look in the mirror, when you can have an honest look at yourself, say, "Ooh, I am a little bit like that, but I'm going to change." And then when you look in the mirror, there are 4 other points you might get. One of the 4 you're definitely going to get. One is that politician will just gracefully disappear out of your life. Now, in the one case, it could mean that he's being put into jail because he's being convicted and has a 5-year sentence hanging over his head. That's one way he could disappear. But it can also be that we choose just to give him less airtime in our head. The other outcome can be that they stop irritating us. As I said, if we give him less airtime in our head, it will change. But also if we change, that we become less like them and more like the people we like, the irritation levels will go down. The third option might be unlikely in this case, is that he might change. You never know what the future holds, but it could be possible, and I'm open to that option. And the fourth one is that we become more effective in dealing with these people. One is, as I said, he might end up in jail where he belongs, or by giving him less airtime, that is a way we choose to deal with him. We just don't listen to him anymore. When we focus on the people that inspire us, we can get an idea of how we want to shift our focus, what skills we want to learn, so that we can create that life that we want. Now, making that shift is not always easy, and especially if our self-esteem is low, it is difficult not to come from lack, it is difficult not to pull ourselves down, and that's why we want to build that self-esteem. And I have a gift for you that can assist you with this. I have a product called iThrive. And if you scan this QR code or use the link in the description, you will get access to this audio program where you can play these audios while you sleep or go about your day. So it doesn't cost much time, so no excuse not using them. And what you will find, this is what other people have told me, they will find they will feel better. Their life, the quality of life improves. They are happier. There are a lot of things they have experienced. And that is what I wish for you. I wish for you a healthy, happy life. And you can do it by looking in the mirror and focusing on changing you.